Welcome back to the official podcast home of the Association for Materials Protection and Performance. I'm Ben Dubose, news editor with the AMP publications team. AMP, of course, is the shorthand acronym for the association, and as far as those publication brands within it, we've got three distinct outlets: Materials Performance Magazine, Coatings Pro Magazine, and Corrosion Journal. All are housed within our AMP publications group. Here at AMP, the big story for us is that we recently wrapped up the 2026 AMP Annual Conference and Expo. Held in late March in Houston, it was a record-setting show, and we should note that Houston is home to one of AMP's global headquarters, so we were thrilled to be able to welcome so many people right into our backyard. Recently on our AMP and Coatings Pro podcast channels, we've been playing back interviews that were recorded from our exclusive AMP Media Studio on the exhibit hall floor. And today we've got more exclusive content related to conference, but presented in a slightly different way. As many of our longtime listeners and members may know, each year's conference also features AMP's annual awards program, and as part of that, we try to catch up with various awards winners in the weeks immediately following the show. The idea is to highlight their personal stories and what that recognition means for their careers, and by extension, potentially their company, their organization, or even the industry as a whole. So without further delay, let's get right to today's interview. And if you want to see the entire list of AMP Awards winners from 2026, just hit up the awards page at amp.org, ampp.org. And by the way, while you're at the AMP website, all you need to do is click on the media tab and you can find all the links you might need or want to all of our publication websites and the associated content that we offer within our AMP publications team. All right, with those plugs out of the way, let's roll the tape.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rebecca Bickham. I'm the editor-in-chief of Materials Performance Magazine, and today I'm joined by Dr. Ahmed Mahgoub. He is a cathodic protection subject matter expert with Aramco. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ahmed.
Thank you, Rebecca.
We're so glad to have you here. So first of all, could you tell us a little bit about your career background and your current role with Saudi Aramco?
Sure. Yeah, thank you for that question, and thank you for having me on this podcast. It's really an honor to be here, especially in the context of receiving the Best Paper Award from AMPP. This recognition means a great deal to me personally, and I wanted to start by saying this award belongs not just to me, but to everyone who has supported my journey in this field during almost 2 decades. My name is Ahmed Mahgoub, and I am a cathodic protection subject matter expert with a deep passion for AC interference, a topic that sits at a very interesting and complex intersection of electrochemistry, electrical engineering, and pipeline integrity. I have been working in this field for over 20 years, and the journey has taken me through consultation, engineering, design, construction, and commissioning of cathodic protection system across a wide range of structures, buried pipelines, offshore facilities, marine structures, and industrial infrastructure of all kinds. Every project has taught me something new, and every challenge has deepened my appreciation for how critical corrosion control is to the safety and sustainability of our global energy infrastructure. In terms of academic and professional accreditation, I hold a PhD in engineering, and I am a certified AMPP CP specialist and also ICOR CP specialist. I have been a member of NACE, now it's AMPP, since 2015, and more recently I have had the privilege of becoming a member of the Cathodic Protection Governing Board at ICOR. Now, in terms of my current role, I am employed by Saudi Aramco, one of the world's largest and most technically sophisticated energy companies based here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Within Aramco, I work in Materials Consulting Service Department. This is a role I find deeply fulfilling because it sits right at the intersection of research, engineering standards, and real-world operation impact. My primary focus within that department is deploying and advancing corporate engineering standards, ensuring that Aramco's technical practices not only meet but lead the industry globally. This means working closely with international standards bodies and aligning our internal standards with the latest revision of international framework, such as AMPP guidelines for sure. It requires a constant awareness of where the international corrosion community is heading and what the emerging consequence on best practice looks like. A significant part of my role involving identifying and incorporating latest technology trends emerging in the field of corrosion protection and the AC interference management. The energy industry is evolving rapidly. We are seeing new pipeline materials, new coating systems, increasing capacity in right-of-way sharing between high-voltage transmission lines and pipelines, and the growing challenge of dynamic AC interference as well from high-speed railway electrification. Staying ahead of this development is not optional, it's essential to protecting assets. I take pride in having had a meaningful impact on the assessment and implementation of cutting-edge technology within Aramco operation, whether that's involving advancing monitoring system, new mitigation strategies, or more sophisticated computing modeling approaches for AC interference assessment. My role is to evaluate this development critically, assess their applicability to Aramco's specific operation context. In many ways, the paper that earned this award is a direct reflection of that role. It emerged from real challenges that I encountered in the field, real pipeline, real AC problems, real questions that existing standard didn't fully answer. This is what drives me, not search for its own sake, but research that solves problem and protects lives and infrastructure. I am deeply grateful to Saudi Aramco for sure for providing an environment where that kind of work is valued and supported. And for sure, I am grateful to AMPP for organizing it, and I'm looking forward to continuous contributing to this community for many years to come.
You mentioned that you've been involved in the industry for over 20 years. Have there been any major challenges that you've experienced during this time? And if so, how did you overcome those? And also, could you tell us or share with our listeners how these challenges have evolved over the past 20 years?
Yeah, there is one for sure. It's a major challenge for me, transitioning from a familiar and comfortable role to one that demanding personal growth and adaptability posed on one of the most significant challenges of my career. It was a period that tested not just my technical knowledge, but my character, my resilience, and my belief in my own potential. At first, I was stressed by the unknown challenge of entering a new area, the unfamiliar demand, that harder learning process, and the strong worry of failing that lingered with me every day. I now realize this feeling is common among professionals during important career changes, but when you are going through it, it can feel lonely. This experience showed me the importance of being strong, preserving, and being dedicated to my goals, even when facing difficult challenges. I remember these lessons every day, and they helped me tackle both technical problems and personal growth effectively.
I know that you've been heavily involved with AMP over the years. I'm wondering if you can share with us how AMP has shaped your professional journey and any opportunities that have come through your involvement with AMP.
Being part of AMP has been one of the most professionally transformative decisions of my career, and I would encourage every corrosion engineer, whether they are just starting out or are decades into their journey, to engage deeply with this organization. AMPP shapes professional journey in a way that very few other bodies can match because it provides a comprehensive framework for career advancement in corrosion control that span every dimension of professional growth, specialized education, industry recognized certifications, cutting-edge technical resources, and a global network of like-minded professionals who share the passion for protecting infrastructure and advancing the science of corrosion prevention. One of the things that struck me most when I first became a member was the sheer depth and the breadth of knowledge that AMP makes available. A remarkable body of work that includes technical standards, peer review research reports, conference processing, and industry-leading publications, such as, for sure, Material Performance and Coatings Pro magazines. For someone like me who is constantly working at the frontier of the AC interference and the cathodic protection, this access is not just an extra benefit, it's central to doing my job well. Being able to draw on decades of documented research, field experience, and standardization work means that the solution I developed are grounded in the best available evidence, not just individual intuition or local experience. In addition to that, participation in MEPP also offers something that I believe is deeply the opportunity to give back and shape the future of the profession through volunteering in technical communities of interest, serving in standard community, presenting research at the annual conferences, and yet through a award like that one I am so honored to have received this year. Members have a real and meaningful platform to showcase their experience, build a reputation that extend beyond their own organization, and directly influence the technical standard and best practices that govern our entire industry globally. For me personally, AMPP has been far more than a professional membership. It has been a community and a stage on which to contribute something lasting to a field that I care about deeply. I am proud to be part of it.
Ahmed, I'd like to personally thank you on behalf of myself and all the readers of Materials Performance for all you've done for the magazine over the years. You've really gone the extra mile in participating in the magazine and writing and working with us. Why has it been worth that time commitment for you?
This is a question I'm truly to answer, because the honest truth is that writing for and working with Material Performance doesn't feel like going the extra mile to me. It feels like a natural extension of who I am as an engineer and as a professional who deeply cares about this field. Let me explain what I mean by that. Throughout my career, I have benefited from the work of researchers and professionals who took the time to document their findings, share their field experiences, and translate complex technical knowledge into accessible, practical guide. Every paper I read early in my career that helped me understand a difficult concept, solve a real engineering problems, or avoid a costly mistake. Someone sat down and worth that. Someone invested their time and energy not for personal gain, but because they believed that knowledge shared is knowledgeable, multiplied. I feel a profound sense of obligation to do the same. Material Performance is not just any publication, it's a flagship magazine of AMPP, read by tens of thousands of corrosion professionals across more than 100 countries. When you publish in Material Performance, you are not speaking to a narrow academic audience. You are reaching field engineers, asset owners, pipeline operators, standard developers, and young professionals as well, who are just beginning their journey in corrosion control. That reach is remarkable, and I consider it a privilege and a responsibility to contribute to it. That's why I go the extra mile, because in our field, knowledge doesn't just advance careers, it protects people and infrastructure, and that's always worth the time.
Congratulations to you on winning the 2026 Fitzgerald Award. Very well deserved, I might add. Can you tell us what this recognition means to you?
Winning an AMPP award is an impressive honor, and I want to be completely honest when I say that receiving this recognition has made me feel both deeply humbled and excited in equal measures. Humbled because I'm actually aware of the expectations, quality of professionals within this community, engineers and scientists who dedicate their careers to solve some of the most technical demanding problems in our industry, and to be recognized among them is something I don't take lightly for even a single moment. Excited because this recognition affirms that the hard work, dedication, and stability I have invested over nearly 2 decades in this field of corrosion protection have truly paid off in a way that extend beyond my own organization and connects with a large group of global corrosion professionals. In addition to that, there have been moments in the journey that were extremely difficult. Moments of uncertainty, of self-doubt, of facing complex technical problems without clear answer, and pushing forward anyway because the work mattered too much to abandon. This award reminds me that those moments were not wasted, as they were investment in something meaningful, and this recognition in the return on that investment in its most satisfying form. But beyond what this award means to me personally, I think it carries a broader significance that I find equally inspiring. The MEP award serves as a powerful symbol of uniqueness within our profession, a marker that elevates the standard of the materials protection industry and sends a clear message to the entire corrosion community about what excellence looks like and what is possible when intensive research meets real-world application. It celebrates not just the individual achievement, but the collective commitment of our professional to contribute to improvement, scientific integrity, and practical impact. Most important for me, this award motivates me to keep striving, to ask harder questions, deeper understanding, and continue contributing to a field that I believe plays a truly vital role protecting our world critical infrastructure for generations to come.
Your winning paper was titled Assessment of Inductive AC Interference Mitigation Strategies. Could you share a little bit about what the paper was about, maybe some background information on it, and let our listeners know what you view as the key achievements that contributed to you winning?
Indeed. Thank you for asking about the paper itself, because this is really where everything comes together for me personally. The paper is titled Assessment of Inductive AC Interference Mitigation Strategies, and at its core, it addresses a problem that I encounter repeatedly in my work at Saudi Aramco, and that I know pipeline engineers around the world are grappling with every single day. When a buried pipeline shares a corridor with high-voltage AC transmission lines or an electrified railway, alternating current is inductively coupling onto the pipeline. This induced AC can cause serious corrosion damage at coating defect, even when the pipeline appears to be well protected by its cathodic protection systems. The paper examined the available mitigation strategies for managing this risk, evaluates their effectiveness under different field conditions, and provides practical guidance that engineers can actually apply. One aspect of the paper that I am particularly proud of is the way it bridges a gap between international standards and real-world field application. International standards provide a criteria for assessing AC corrosion risk. Applying this criteria in the field, especially in environment with variable and low soil resistivity and character along the pipeline route, presented challenges. The paper presented a detailed case study that investigates exactly those challenges, showing how low soil resistivity and variable resistivity, variation of soil resistivity along a pipeline corridor can make achieving the required protection criteria extremely difficult, and what mitigation strategies are most effective in response. For me especially, AC interference is a topic that remains widely misunderstood and underappreciated in terms of its true risk to pipeline integrity. There are pipelines operating right now around the world that are at risk from AC-induced corrosion, and the engineers responsible for protecting them may not have access to the latest research or practical guidance on how to assess and mitigate that risk effectively. That reality drove every decision I made in writing this paper. The depth of analysis, the clarity of representation, and the focus on actionable conclusion. If this paper helps even one engineer makes better decision that prevent a pipeline failure, protecting community, or ultimately save life, then every hour I invested in writing it was worth it many times over. That's what I view as the greatest achievement in this paper represented.
Well, it's an excellent award-winning paper, and I encourage all our listeners to check it out. You mentioned earlier in our conversation that the industry is evolving rapidly. I'm wondering if, like, looking to the future, what goals or projects in your field you're most excited about? What's coming up?
Over the past 20 years, I have had the privilege of being actively involved in terms of onshore and offshore projects spanning multiple countries, disciplines, and engineering challenges. And I can honestly say that each one has left a mark on me, both professionally and personally. And many of these projects I'm extremely proud of, and not simply because of their technical complexity, but because of the significance of what they were designed to achieve. These are global projects, that kind that form the new foundation of oil and gas industry, that shape how energy infrastructure is designed, built, and protected for decades to come, and that ultimately serve communities, economies, and nations far beyond the boundaries of any single engineering teams or organization. My personal contribution across this project has been primarily focused on corrosion control, a discipline that sits quickly in the background of every major infrastructure project, but whose importance can't be overstated. Especially my work has spanned corrosion control for steel and concrete structure, cross-country pipeline systems that stretch across hundreds of kilometers of challenging terrain and varying soil conditions, complex oil and gas processing plants where multiple corrosion threats interact simultaneously, and alternating current mitigation techniques for pipeline sharing corridors with high voltage transmission lines and electrified railways as well. Each of these domains present its own unique set of technical challenges, and navigating them across so many different project environments has given me a depth and breadth of practical experience that I believe I couldn't have been acquired any other way. But beyond the technical work itself, I have always felt a strong personal responsibility to ensure that the knowledge generated through this project doesn't remain confined with the walls of the organization involved. My role has consistently included publicities this project, sharing findings, lesson learned, and engineering insights with the broader corrosion community through publication, conference presentation, and technical discussions. Because in our profession, every lesson learned in the field is potentially a pipeline failure prevented somewhere else in the world. That belief has driven my commitment to knowledge sharing throughout my entire career, and it remains as strong today as it has ever been.
Ahmed, you have so much experience and insight into the industry, so I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, what advice do you have for industry newcomers, the next generation?
This field requires a combination of strong technical knowledge, hands-on experience, and the ability to make connections with others. The industry is highly specific, and being successful means constantly staying informed about new materials, technologies, and environmental rules. Here are some tips I can share with professionals in this field. Go hands-on experience and don't rely solely on theoretical knowledge. Obtain professional certification from organizations like, for sure, AMPP. Seek out experienced engineer within your company or professional society. They can review your work and guide your career development. Engage with professional association. AMPP committed to meet industry experts and learn about new technologies. Participate in technical groups and volunteer for tasks, even if you are early in your career, to gain visibility. Always remember that your work affects public safety. Follow industry standards and codes elegantly. As the industry moves toward the digital, develop skills in AI, data analytical, and remote monitoring.
My final question for you is, if anyone is wanting to get in touch with you or learn more about your career, what are the best ways that they can go about doing that?
Thank you so much for that question and this wonderful conversation, Rebecca. It has been a true pleasure to share my journey, my passion for AC interference and corrosion protection, and the work that led to this incredible recognition from AMPP. For anyone who has been listening today and would like to get in touch with me, connect professionally, or learn more about my work and research, I would absolutely love to hear from you. The corrosion community is at its best when we are collaborating across borders and organizations, and I'm always delighted to engage with fellow professionals who share this passion. The easiest and most direct way to connect with me is through LinkedIn, where I am actively present and regularly share technical insights, update on my research, and thoughts in emerging development in the field of cathodic protection and AC interference. Please feel free to search for me by name Ahmed Mahgoub and send a connection request. I welcome connections from engineers, researchers, students in corrosion protections and pipeline integrity. In my published research, my paper are accessible for sure through the AMPP library. I would encourage anyone working on AC interference and challenges to read it and reach out with questions or feedback. That kind of dialogue is really what makes writing and publishing worthwhile. If you allow me, Rebecca, and before I finish, I want to express my gratitude to everyone who helped achieve this award. Above all, I wanted to thank my dear family, especially my daughter, for their great support and encouragement throughout my career, as they have been my greatest source of strength, and every achievement I have reached belonged to them so much as it does to me. This award is dedicated to them for their love and patience, and I am grateful to my management and colleague at Saudi Aramco. The company invests in its employees, promotes technical excellence, and foster an environment for research and innovation. The support and the trust I have received from my manager have shaped me into the engineer and researcher I am today. I am proud to represent Saudi Aramco, and I am grateful to everyone who was part of my journey, known or unknown. This is dedicated to all of you.
Dr. Ahmed Mahgoub, thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations again on being a 2026 Fitzgerald Award winner. Thank you so much again for all your hard work on Materials Performance magazines. And thank you so much for sharing your insight and knowledge with our listeners today.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, and for your time.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.